Okay, so my name is Paul Watrous, and we're out here doing a roof inspection for a real estate transaction. The potential buyers have some concerns with the roof system. Their main concern is all the foot traffic and the heavy denting on the stone-coated steel, so they just want to make sure that everything checks out properly and there's no major red flags. On this bay window here, we like to look at, this is just molding coming together. Just similar to here, you have two pieces of molding coming together. Sometimes if you have moisture stains, you'll see it swelling up, or you can see water coming through there. So if we look on this bay window, you got, again, two pieces of molding coming together, and you see this yellow streak here. You got a droplet here, a water droplet here, and more yellow staining there. And if you look outside, all of this is covered by the roof system, so there's no possible way that this could be leaking from anything else other than the roof, with the exception of possibly pressure washing before an exterior paint. So what we'll want to do is ask if the exterior was recently pressure washed.
Gotcha.
A lot of times these bay windows are aftermarket as well. So they won't be properly integrated into the siding system. So we just want to look for anything that is discolored or cracking, any areas that just are typically prone to roof leaks, such as your chimneys, fireplaces, skylights. Closets typically aren't painted, so we like to look in closets too. You can see that ceiling is not freshly painted. Cracking there. You got a couple deflections in the ceiling, but I don't see any signs of staining that accompany the cracking. Something to kind of pay attention to is I like to kind of pick up on other stuff. The house hasn't been recently painted. It's not fresh paint. It might be 5 years old. You got nails, holes, cobwebs. So that just tells you that the interior of the house hasn't been painted over. So here's our flat roof that we saw inside. Once we get on top of the roof, we'll be able to see a little better. Just to make sure it's installed right. We want to look to make sure there's proper bleed out and that the roofing material is bonded and not separating. I can't really see any deficiencies from here, so we'll take a look at that when we get on top of the roof. I'm looking through, if we're downstairs looking up, it's going to be really difficult to see the back side of the fascia board because of the angle. So it's always nice to kind of poke your head out the window, make sure you can see the back side of the fascia board. You have some staining like up here. You'll see that type of stuff in kids' bedrooms. It's obviously not from water, it's from a silly hand or those glow-in-the-dark stars or something. Okay, here's our attic hatch. It is damaged. So before I touch it, I just want to take a quick picture. And then we also have a water stain right here. So I'll notate that in the report. And then once we do our attic portion of the inspection, I'll be able to identify what that's from. Could be from a roof leak or HVAC condensate or something like that. So in bathrooms, you'll see water stains, damaged wood. You actually have this wainscoting covering wallpaper. It's not necessarily water damage from a roof leak. It's more from just your steam in the shower. Yeah. And you have another leak right here. So you have some, okay, you got a couple things. Here's your leak, here's your initial leak. And then it gets hidden, looks like it gets hidden. Then it comes back up right here. So you got two streaks here. And then along the baseboard, you see the swelling of the baseboard. It actually comes up and follows the baseboard like that. So you may only see this. A lot of people may not see this or been in bed here or something. Follow it up to here. There's definitely a leak here. Starts here, and then again, it's protected by your roof. So this is actually definitely a roof leak. You can look at the backside of the fascia board one bay over, and you have water stains on the backside of the fascia. So and again, if you didn't look through the window at the backside of this fascia, you wouldn't be able to see this leak. And if you're not paying close attention to the details within the rooms, you wouldn't be able to identify that leak either. Cupboards too. So looking in cupboards, again, interior of the cupboards don't get painted, so it can kind of help out. Just like to look at all those. This is the exterior door, and this is right where we saw that moisture stain. So we'll want to take a look at the garage location there. So we have, okay, so that leak that we saw outside was right here. And so we come in the garage and you'll notice not only the staining on the drywall, but it's also coming down from the roof system itself. So we noticed this leak from the outside, and we're getting further detailed information on the inside. The seller had just left, and you know, she didn't know of any moisture intrusion yet. This can go unnoticed, especially if she parks her car in here. It's outside and it's raining, her car gets wet, she brings it inside and leaves a puddle. But something else that we noticed too is the felt underlayment doesn't go all the way to the wall and then wraps up the wall. It's cut short. So any deficiency in between the roofing material and the wall on the exterior of the house will allow rainwater to come through and penetrate. So that's what we have here. Plus we have evidence of a wood shingle beneath the stone-coated steel too. So we'll go ahead and take pictures of that. That way we can notate the file for future reference. At the end of the inspection, we'll start talking to the client and show them the outside water stains, and then we'll bring them in here and show them the further detailed staining as well. So this is space sheathing. If this roof gets replaced, it's now required to have solid sheathing, meaning you just put plywood or OSB on top of the space sheathing. This is a little small flat roof here. So you can tell by the framing that it's a small flat roof. You have water stains in the corner of this. So we're going to want to pay attention to that when we get on top of the roof, and in the middle. And if you notice, all the water staining is where the flat roof, the low slope roof, will terminate into the pitched roof outside. So we'll just keep a special eye on that when we get outside. It's kind of leaking all over the place. So these stains are pretty obvious. When you get in the attic, if you see smaller stains, just look for dark lines, and the water typically follows the grain of the wood. So when you see dark lines fall on the grain of the wood, that's your water stain. Okay, so this is good to note. You have your fascia board here, and naturally the fascia board gets dirty and dusty from just years of exposure to the elements. But then as the roof leaks, it'll wash away the dust and the dirt on the backside, leaving streaks. So you'll see a streak here, and a couple over here. And then you also see the cracking on the starter board where it's been bondoed in the past. And then that bondo has since cracked, in addition to the leaks well. Okay, so this is the bay window that was leaking. Do you see anything? Because it could very well be pressure washing. You have your E-vent right above that corner. So they could have been spraying it and hit that E-vent and cause that to leak. So we just want to verify that the exterior was or was not recently painted. It doesn't look like it was recently painted, but it might have been recently cleaned. If you look on this fascia board here, very tail end, you'll see water stains in the front. And then if you look at this side, second story, you have dry rot on the fascia board, and then also behind the back side of the fascia, you also have water stains. Okay, so now we're up on the stone-coated steel roofing material. As you can notice, there's a ton of foot traffic already on the roof system, so someone's been walking all over the roof, causing the material to dent. Once the material dents, it will allow accelerated deterioration, so you'll start getting granule loss. It'll kink and cause damage in the metal, and you'll actually have an exposed portion of the metal. Once you have an exposed portion of the metal, then water will travel underneath the roofing material and cause leaks. So something that we noticed in the attic was at the roof penetrations, all the pipes needed to be resealed. So you'll see down here the ABS pipe goes through the flashing, and at that transition, that sealant has since cracked, exposing the joint, and any water that runs down the pipe will hit that joint and go into the attic. Something a little different with this roof system is you don't see the base of the flashings. Like on composition roofs or on tile roofs, you'll see the base of the flashings. These flashings are all underneath. It's one of the reasons why I don't like this roofing material. In addition to the flashings not being done normally, your mechanical fasteners holding down the material, you'll see they're face nailed. The nails are all exposed to the elements. So as water comes across and hits those nails, that'll also allow the rainwater to get underneath the roofing material. This is throughout the field. At the very base, the first course of this roofing system, your mechanical fasteners are surface nailed instead of face nailed. So you'll have the screws on the face. They actually alternated screws and nails. You're supposed to seal them. They sealed the ones in the front of the house, but they didn't seal the ones on the second story rear facing facet. So that typically will let water leak at the perimeter, and you'll see evidence of that on the fascia board as well. So if we make our way over to the chimney, we'll see all the foot traffic going up, and you'll see it throughout the course of the roofing material, but there's no sealant, or the sealant's deteriorated at the chimney flashing, so that's going to be a source of a leak as well. So here we have your Z-bar flashing. This is a Z-bar flashing. It's actually surface mounted. This portion of the flashing should be behind the stucco. All they did was they put it against the stucco and sealed the top. So what that's, the flashing is installed right, which means the roofing material is not installed right. And all they did was they put sealant. That sealant has since, it was never sufficient enough, but it's since cracked, and any water that runs down the chimney wall will hit that void in the sealant and then go underneath the roofing material, cause a leak. So as we're up here, I guess I'll teach you how to walk on this roofing material. It's a thin piece of steel, and it's kind of bent and has a couple different breaks in it. The front of it is curved over, so it looks like a thicker material, but it's a really thin piece of material. You can just walk right on the overlap, and you won't damage anything. If you walk in the middle, right here, it'll pop. And then once it's dented, it's really hard to get it undented. And once dents occur, then you'll get your granule loss and kinks in the metal. So if you just walk on the headlap, that's your best spot. Something else you can do is you can walk in already damaged material, so you're not going to cause any more damage walking in the already damaged material. So you'll see a little bit of granule loss here. I guess while we're here, you have a crack here. So someone stood here, dented the material, and you get the granule loss from that, and then there's a break in the material. The metal, there's a void, a crease, and so any water that runs down will hit that crease and then go underneath the roofing material and cause a leak. A couple things as we walk down, you'll see on this lower portion of the roof, there's a ton of granule loss. This roofing material is sold as a 50-year product or a lifetime product, but in reality it only lasts about 25 to 30 years until you start getting the granule loss. Once you have the granule loss, it exposes the metal to the elements, and that causes rust. So basically this roof is at the end of its life. As we work our way down, you'll see we do have a pretty large repair here. They could have used the surplus material that they had during the roofing project. You'll see the two different colors, and then in the middle of here they actually spray painted the material to try and blend in. So if you're trying to repair any damaged material, you'll end up getting this type of finished result. Even if it's the same type of roofing material that you originally had and installed, this has been exposed to the elements, or this has been stored in the garage, so it doesn't get aged as much. So on this type of roofing material, a repair will end up not looking very good. So you can see down through here you have just a ton of foot traffic. It's all over the place. And then on the back side over here, we have, again, more locations where the metal has cracked. I didn't want to go through and mark all the locations on the roof, but these are just easily accessible areas that are hidden from the street. But there's 4 locations here where the metal's cracked, and this will allow water to go through the roofing material. And then again, your same Z-bar issue that we had at the chimney, they surface mounted it on the stucco, and that has since been pulling away. Again, this top portion of the Z-bar needs to be behind the stucco system. So they didn't do this right. And what that'll result, again, any water that comes down through here will go then behind your roofing material. And we saw a pretty major leak in this location in the garage. So that really concludes the roof portion of the inspection. We're going to go and talk with the customers and then finalize our report and email it over to them tonight.